Some things happened in my life. My mum passed away, and I got diagnosed with something. So I was like, look, I can sit around and be upset and depressed about life or whatever, or I can sell everything that I own. So I sold my car, quit my job, and put everything in a backpack and just went traveling.
I just want to tell everybody that you've walked 130 kilometers from Bangkok to Pattaya. It took you 3 days. Why did you do that? Hi everybody, Pete here from Thairish Times. What's the story? So the other day I came across this new Thailand YouTube channel, new to the Thailand vlogging niche. And what it is this guy who does these unusual walking challenges. His name is Chris. And as you've just heard, he's walked from Bangkok to Pattaya. He's also walked the entire 48 BTS stations of the Sukhumvit Green Line. And he also has plans to walk from Don Mueang Airport to Suvarnabhumi Airport. And he's got plans to take the channel to Japan as well. His editing is on point. It's funny. I just thought the story was interesting. I want to know, why is someone doing these unusual walking challenges? I mean, could you imagine walking from Bangkok to Pattaya in the hot sun, where you can just take a 2-hour bus ride or a taxi or whatever? So yeah, let's go meet Chris. Let's find out why he's doing these things, and let's have a chat with him and find out why he moved to Thailand. All right, so let's get into it.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know.
All right, Chris, thanks very much for doing this. I really appreciate it. You've got a great new channel, the new Thailand YouTuber on the scene. I really enjoy your content, and we're going to get into all of that today. But first, tell everybody where you're from.
Well, my name is actually Chris, but my channel was called Will Walker, but it's my middle name. I'm from Bristol, and I will be 40 this year, I think. I'm at the age now where I got my hair cut, and she actually started trimming in my ears. So I'm assuming, I didn't even know hair was growing out of your ears, but apparently it is. So
I'm starting to get those long eyebrow hairs as well. So I'm not far behind you.
Yeah.
So Chris, how long have you been living in Thailand?
I've been here 5 years. I've got obviously like a couple of visa runs every now and again, but yeah, 5 years in a row. And now I'm married, so I have the spouse visa.
Okay, cool. So how did you end up moving from the UK to Thailand? Were you traveling around before, or how did that happen?
Well, it's a pretty long story. I was living in England, and I got promoted, so I went over to Holland to work as an IT manager for an ethical bank, if you believe that's a thing. And but then that kind of gave me the travel bug. And so after a couple of years, then some things happened in my life. My mum passed away, and I got diagnosed with something. So I was like, look, I can sit around and be upset and depressed about life or whatever, or I can sell everything that I own. So I sold my car, quit my job, and put everything in a backpack and just went traveling. And I was 31. So I guess I've been traveling for 8 years now. And I just kind of didn't have a plan. I thought maybe I'd do it for 2 years and then go home. My friend said I could sleep on his sofa if I come back with no money. So like, oh, that was the safety net that I needed at least. But yeah, that was eight and a half years ago now. So,
and where did you go traveling?
Well, I had no plan, so I basically went back and forth on myself. I'm pretty Tindering around the world. So they created a beautiful thing where you could change your geolocation. So I would change it to this country and just have a swipe around, and all of a sudden I got some matches. Right, booking a flight. So went to Ukraine a couple of times, more times than I should care to remember. Went over to Nashville to see the Johnny Cash Museum for 2 weeks, and the museum was there for like an hour, and then didn't have nothing else to do. Yeah, Sweden. I was camping. I did some like canoeing in the middle of Sweden. Just a group of people doing like a bushcraft thing, and then eventually I think I met someone on a forum. They had like their own little blog thing, and they were like, yeah, I'm in Thailand and I've always wanted to cycle across it. So do you want to come over here? And I'm like, yeah, all right. I got nothing to do. So I flew from, I think I was in Iceland or something. I think I flew from Iceland to here. We chatted for like 4 days, and that was enough to be like, yeah, he's not going to kill me. I'm not going to kill him. We bought some bikes, and then we cycled to Pattaya, and then up to Laos. So that was my first 2 weeks in Thailand, was cycling in the heat, getting used to everything. And that first 5 days buying a bike was enough for me to be like, wow, this place is actually ticks all of the boxes, you know.
And did you decide then that you want to stay there long term in Thailand?
No. I didn't really decide that for a couple of years later. But we went up to Laos, and then he was going to South Korea or something, so I just took the flight back to Bangkok, because I just wanted to chill out for a bit. I started chatting to the cabin crew, of course, and then that was the next 6 months of my life was with her. So that was, it was just like, wow, okay, the beautiful cabin crew lady. We come down, and then I stayed here. I ended up buying a juice business, so I was selling like organic juice here. I've been a condo agent twice. I've worked in 2 different tattoo shops. Basically, I'll do anything to not be an English teacher, because I will just screw up those kids. And so I don't want to put that on them, because my English is shocking. So but it's just been like, every time I needed a little bit of cash, I had, legit work permits with the condo agencies and stuff. And you just fall in love with the place, right? Maybe not the sun, but I fall in love with everything else. The people are, for the best part, great. The women are obviously stunning, and the cost of living, I guess, is pretty decent, right? I'm traveling. I want to make every penny go as far, which is probably why I'm addicted to 7-Eleven coffee, I should imagine.
That was one of my questions down here, to get into the 7-Eleven coffee, because basically I've been watching all your videos lately, and they're fantastic. So I just want to tell everybody that you've walked 130 kilometers from Bangkok to Pattaya. It took you 3 days, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell us, like, and you've documented it in the video
Why?
on your channel so everybody can watch it. Like, why did you do that?
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons was I wanted to text my friend Luca and say, like, I'm on my way to your house. And then he'd be like, what? And it took me then 3 days to get there, because I'm pretty sure I could have flown back to the UK and back like 6 times in that time, because it's quite a long travel, right? For effectively, you can travel around the world in less. But I've always done like crazy, stupid walks. A couple of years ago, I went up Mount Fuji barefoot. I didn't even film it. I didn't even think to film it. I just wanted to do it. My friend was over there. And I guess it's because I'm such a cheapskate that instead of just taking the BTS 5 stations, I'm like, well, that's only an hour walk. I might as well just do that. And I don't know. We walked around Japan a lot, and Japan is expensive, way more than most Asian places. And when we walk around, you see little small shops and little things that are not on any guidebook. Like it's not just the common tourist places. It's the little side street where I had to jump over a little alley to go over to that main place. And I kind of enjoyed the walk there more than I did the actual destination when I got there. And so I've always just applied that here. My friend Mike, he's always visiting me once a year, and we just go up to the night market. But that's 2-hour walk. And we have a new drink at every 5th 7-Eleven just to make the walk more fun. And by the time we get to the night market, we're 20 minutes and we come home again. But it was just like the little side interactions with locals, the street cats, the little klongs, the smells. That is super exciting for me. Probably with the added bonus of like, who else would do something this stupid, So that's kind of also a nice thing in my book.
Well, I know exactly what you're saying. I think we all kind of know what it's like to go on a long walk in Thailand, and you see the most unusual things, and it's just an adventure in itself. Every street you go down, every soil you go down, it's just different. So when I think of going from Bangkok to Pattaya walking, right, I can imagine, all right, you're going down Sukhumvit Road, you'll have a footpath down there, but you're eventually going to run out of footpath and you're going to hit a motorway. Is that what happened to you? Yeah.
I think it was Udom Suk. You take a left, and then the road was 30 kilometers, and it was a straight road. So other than like avoiding trucks every now and again, and I just sort of went over each bridge, and you just look like a kilometer ahead of you, and be like, yeah, this side, the path just disappears, so I'm going to go over there. And most times it's like the path disappears both sides, so you just kind of, you're walking down. And it's super boring. I highly recommend it to everybody.
But it didn't look boring in your video. I mean, it looked like a cool adventure, even though I could imagine that was very, very hot.
Yeah, it was hot. And like, I mean, I started pretty early and then I could see the sunrise and I stopped for a few drinks and, but it was just a battle against the sun because, and I soon realized by the 3 hours in, wearing a sleeveless vest and shorts is somehow hotter than wearing like fully covered up. Because I'm always seeing like the local workers, at the building sites or even the motorbike taxi drivers, right? They're fully covered. And I'm like, oh, they must be hot. But actually, no, it's somehow cooler. You're already hot and sweaty anyway, but I guess you're not burning. So yeah, it was, I also thought to myself, if I can make walking down a motorway semi-interesting, then I can make going to Disneyland wild.
You have that very British sarcastic humor going on, like very self-deprecating. Like you call yourself fat. Videos.
I am fat though. I'm not lying. It's kind of like, what do they call it? British dry humor.
Exactly.
You're either going to like it or you're going to be like, there's no explosions. It's not even funny. So, I get one or the other.
And I did get to wonder why in practically every mall or supermarket, the toilets are always next to the cash machines. I guess so you can make a deposit and a withdrawal at the same time.
Yeah, but I love it. I mean, that's probably one of the reasons why we're doing this interview. I was just laughing the whole way through it, man. It's great.
That's it.
Humor.
If I can connect with the right people, then I don't class myself as funny. And actually, like when I made the channel, I thought to myself, because I work, it's no secret, I work as a consultant occasionally, if I can. So I'm aware of a lot of YouTube channels, the goods and the bads. And my core premise was starting the channel. I had 2 rules. Number 1, no one cares about who I am, so don't talk about yourself. And number 2, make it super fast paced because people's attention spans are quite short. Well, consideration spans are short. Attention spans, you could still binge watch the whole of Game of Thrones, maybe not the last 2 seasons, but you can watch it when you're ready. But your consideration span, I probably spend longer on the Netflix menu than I do actually watching the thing on it. So that was my 2 rules. And then I realized that I had mostly footage of a motorway and bridges. So I was like, one of these rules is going to have to break because you would be bored out of your mind just watching a physical, the whole route. And I just happened to, if I could get the time to sit down at a 7-Eleven or in a shadow, I would say 1 or 2 things that was on my mind. And I think I mostly cut out 90% of what I said. And I just left the core parts. And by the end of it, I was like, wow, he was really quite upbeat because I'm pretty sure I was moaning the whole way. But the edit is very powerful. You can cut out the part where I'm saying like, okay, off we go. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired. But just cut that second part out. And it's like, yeah. So now it's like, no, take a positive spin. I'm doing something pretty amazing, to be honest. Pretty stupid, but pretty amazing. And yeah. And so, yeah. And thank you for your kind words about it, because I've never really done editing before. I just paid for Prem Pro about 3 months ago. And I'm just looking at it, but I try to look at it in a different way as everything, right? As you probably can tell, I don't just look at it as a normal, this is a thing. If I see a transition, I figure that everybody knows what that transition is. So therefore, if I can make more from it. So in that latest one, I was kind of walking up to the camera and I moved my hands from the right and push it to the left as the transition came through. So then I'm kind of interacting with something. And then I was like, okay, I'll do it again. And I reached up to the top and put down. And then I was like, well, if they've seen the first 2 transitions, they know what I'm going to do. So the third one, now I have to be different. So I went down to the ground and lifted up and nothing happened. And then I faked it and moved it to the, so it's kind of like, it's like some misdirection, 1, 2, 8. And that's the sort of way that I look at things in probably a messed up, stupid way, but
no, well, you come across, so I suppose the next question I'm going to ask you, to me, you come across as being super creative, but how would you describe yourself?
As a man that took way too many mushrooms in Holland. There is actually scientific proof. I looked it up, and it's kind of like it opens a little bit of your creativity, and then when you're down, it's not a hard drug. But you can remember everything that you did. So there would be sometimes, and I mean, I took maybe like 10 lots in 3 years. So it's not like I had an addiction, but I remember sometimes I would stand up was a little bit high in my house where I lived, and I'd walk to the kitchen, and I'd turn back round and look at where I sat, and could maybe spend an hour staring at where I used to be sat, thinking like, yeah, do I just go from that place to work and then back, and then when I come home I just sit there and look at the wall, like is that my entire life? And then so like, yeah, I've just felt creative. I'm probably got no other hard skills, but as my wife will attest to, I woke up like 3 o'clock in the morning yesterday just laughing at a joke that I was thinking about. Like I was awake, and just before to go back to bed, I was like, that would be hilarious. And then I had to wake her up. I was like, do you mind if I film you pretending to do this? She's like, shut up, go back to bed. So yeah, I've got a little notepad by the side because my memory is also shocking. So I got a little notepad by the side of my bed. I wake up, I'm like, oh, you know what I should do? And I can tell you that joke if you're interested.
Go on.
Because I got it here.
Let's hear it.
I was like, and so this is a spoiler for, I haven't made the video yet, but I was going to try and film her and saying like 1 in 10 Chinese women living in Thailand suffer from constipation. And so the only way to guarantee to fix constipation is with a big sheet.
And you came up with this as you were sleeping, or did you wake up?
No, I woke up because I drink way too much Coca-Cola. And then I remember like seeing it a few days ago, and I was like, oh, this is how I could use that. I better go down and, I mean, it's just seaweed, isn't it? I hate fish, so I'm never going to eat it. But I thought, that'd be funny. So I wrote it down, bought it, and that's going to be what, 3 seconds of content.
That's good. That's good. I like that. You got to put that in. I'll be watching that in your next video. So Chris, what's your plan? Is your plan long term in Thailand? Is that the goal? Is that what you see yourself doing?
Yeah. I mean, so we found a cat, and I'm not supposed to have one, and little baby. So we went to Paws, and they cleaned him up and all that sort of stuff, which is a cat adoption agency. So that kind of limits your travel when you've got a little fluff bag to look after. But I mean, I guess other than the air quality, I find Thailand to be amazing, right? Like I went to meet my friend 2 days ago, and I looked, and it was like 195. I could chew the air. So I'm sure that's killing us. But other than that, I find everything to be great. So I think long term, we can commit to a couple more years here at the very least, and then see how it goes. I don't know about raising children, and I'd want them to go to a private school, and it's quite expensive, and the air quality. And she's Chinese, so I get to explore China, or I can go back to England, or we'll pick something else. So don't know. It is nice to have that problem, but I'm also getting older, so I kind of like to have my own TV and my own sofa and that sort of stuff. So there's a balance there, right? You have to figure out what you're going to do. I have got no retirement plan. I'm hoping to be either a YouTube millionaire, crypto millionaire, or I'm very good at begging for money under the BTS. So
we'll be watching out for you.
Please give me $1.
20 baht, okay. That's all you're getting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 10 baht. No, I don't want baht. No.
Right. So now in one of your videos I watched today, you referred to your psycho ex-girlfriend, and you said hashtag FU Sarah.
FU Sarah. Yeah.
What's the story with the referral to your psycho ex-girlfriend in the video?
My relationship with caffeine is just like my relationship with my psycho ex-girlfriend. When we're together, we're perfectly fine, but when we're apart, tries to kill me. Hashtag you, Sarah.
I don't know anyone called Sarah. I just wanted it to be a nice English clear name that I could say quite quickly, but it wasn't. No one I know.
So you just made that up for just because it came out of nowhere, and I was just like, whoa.
No, I made it up on the spot, thinking it's quite difficult to because I'm walking for 12 hours, and the video is 10 minutes. So most of the time I'm just walking in my own thoughts, which is a terrible place to be. And I just think I've got a good idea for a joke, sit down. And actually in that same video, the guy, there was a Thai guy sat down next to me, and he said my little catchphrase. And he doesn't really speak very good English at all. But we've been texting, and next week he's going to give me a guided tour of the military base. So it was such a random, the things that I've enjoyed the most on these walks, I've interacted with so many people. As soon as you get out of Bangkok, I mean, even in Bangkok, you're still different than in, you know, how you would feel in the UK, right? In the UK, I'm just another ginger guy. In Thailand, I'm like, you're a ginger guy. It's the same thing, but you kind of feel like a little bit more special. But you get out of Bangkok, and especially when we cycled up to Laos, people were beeping us and cheering as they go by. And even getting to the end of the BTS, people are looking at me like, the hell are you doing here? There's nothing here for you. And I'm walking down the motorway, and about 4 different people stopped. And they were like, and I just assumed each time it was the cops saying, like, don't walk on this motorway. And each one of them was like, no, it's cool. You're crazy. I just wanted to say hi, test their English or something. So, it's pretty funny. But that has, you know, it's just a nice little story that I got to meet that person. And I really wish that one day I could be good enough to maybe either speak Thai, which is never going to happen, or hire like a translator or someone that's dumb enough to walk stupid far with me so I can interact with more people. Because I'm super impressed with like the 7-Eleven staff. I know I always big up 7-Eleven. It's hashtag not sponsored. But like the 7-Eleven staff through the whole pandemic were working 24/7, right? And no one ever said thanks to them, as far as like, we didn't clap the 7-Eleven thing. So I would love to be able to interview them and say like, how do you feel working here all the time, even through a very scary time? You know, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Maybe one day.
On a serious note, when we were going back and forth with ideas, you gave me some information about yourself, and one of the things you said, you'll probably be in a wheelchair in a few years. And I was just like, what? Like, and then I was just thinking in my head, is that the reason why you're doing all these walks? You know, can you explain what you meant by that?
It's probably some deep psychological reason. No, I like, you know, you ever watch like Britain's Got Talent? The first, you know, I want to hear you sing, but the first 5 minutes they have to tell them about, you know, someone's passed away in their life and how sad their story is. So I don't want to make it about that. But yes, I have a degenerative bone problem where at 25, I was diagnosed with it. And they said, by 30, you're going to be in a wheelchair. So coming out to a hot country, because it's kind of like arthritis, coming out to a hot country has really helped prolong that. But yeah, some days I wake up screaming. Some days I wake up laughing at my own stupid jokes. Some days I can go to the gym, play football 3 times in the same day. And the next day I'm perfectly fine. It's the days that I'm not doing anything that's bad. So yeah, I went to the doctors about 2 months ago, and they were like, okay, your left hip is 3 out of 3. I don't know what that means. And your right hip is 2 out of 3. So they both need to be replaced. And I guess the more I can't be active, the older you get, right? You just generally can't do as much as you can when you're younger. It's going to start seizing up. And they were like, yeah, you're going to need your hips replaced, your knees, your shoulders. And then I can barely move my fingers. They're so slow and multicolored stupidity, but they're so like, it's just, sometimes I can't do my shoes up. So I used to always wear Velcro shoes. And when I worked in the bank, when I was 31, I would go to work sometimes with 2 crutches. And my managers would be like, you were playing football last night. What did you do? And I'm like, no, nothing to do with that. And then the next day, perfectly fine. It's a very odd thing. You know, it's just a pain disease. It's nothing, not dying. It could be worse, right? There's people with way more inflictions than me. But I do have ginger hair, so I'm already like pretty disabled from it. But I don't try to think about it. Get knocked down crossing the road, gonna go and buy some pork sticks, right? So it is what it is. I just try to live my life as best that I can without interfering with other people. So I'm not that stressed about it. But there was an aspect of it thinking like, hey, if I am in a wheelchair in 5-10 years, 2 months, who knows, I can look back and be like, well, there's all my walking done. And I'm not that fussed about walking ever again anyway. You know, try and put like a positive spin on it if you can.
And what are the plans coming up on the channel? What are we going to see? What kind of videos are we going to see going forward?
Yeah, well, I mean, my only goal with the channel is to be able to put out some content and someone sees it in their feed or on the home screen or whatever, and that they feel excited that they can watch it. That's my core mission statement, is they know it was good last one and they just can't wait to get some popcorn and spend 10 minutes knowing that it's going to be funny or stupid or whatever. But I've even just bought some business cards which just say, never forget you are awesome. And then it's just my QR code on the back. I was going to put branding on it, but I meet so many people and they obviously don't speak English and I don't speak a word of Thai. But if I can at least showcase them a bit more and say, look, scan this and that. But we're going to Monday we're walking from one airport to the other, because I think it's a burning question that nearly everybody asked is, can you get up in the morning, go to Donmuring Airport, and then walk to the other one? Because I'm sure that's what all the fans are waiting for. And then after that, we're going to go to Japan, and I'm going to cycle across it. So I'm currently buying lots of bike related things, and then figuring out where to buy a bike. So I'm going to do like a 5-part series, cycling across Japan, but in my own style of doing stupidity things.
Wow, that's going to be amazing. Well,
Hopefully, who knows? And then, of course, like my wife's Chinese. So if I can go and visit her family by the end of the year too, then that's more content that is quite unique. I don't know how they'll feel about me filming them, but it will be interesting enough for me. So that's all I care about, really. If I like it, then that's fine. As I get one view, then I'm happy.
You know what would be a good idea? If you walk down kind of the coast from Bangkok to Phuket and you try to keep it along the coast as much as possible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just did the BTS walk, and that was great because I only just have to focus on the BTS, and I don't have to worry too much about, like, you've already got batteries, cameras, I need to eat, I need to go to the toilet, I need to drink, like, there's already so much going on. To actually then navigate becomes more hard, right? So like, if I can just say follow the BTS all the way along, then that's an idea. I just bought this thing. It's over here, but it doesn't matter. It's called a Beeline. It's a I guess it's a motorbike navigation system, and it's kind of like Grand Theft Auto. It just points, you put a waypoint on, and it gives you an arrow and just says 127 kilometers, and you just walk that way. It's not obviously the most direct route, but it doesn't really matter because you save time in just not looking at street names. You're just going in that direction. So I'm going to try and use that a little part. And especially if you're cycling, it just clips onto your handlebars and it'll be quite good. But I'm open for any ideas. If people leave me comments and say, hey, you should try this. Well, yeah, why not? If I can do it and make some sort of reason to do it. I know Jeroen from Global Travel Mate. He's working with some people that are trying to do a really good cause, and they deliver food from, I think it's from Asok out. So I was like, oh, maybe I can go along and take one meal and walk out there just for content's sake, but I'll, donate them some money as well. But, if we can make it interesting but more impactful, then I think that'd be quite a cool idea. Yeah.
And is the aim to grow this channel as big as possible, or is it more like
a sure hobby? 100 million subscribers, why not? No, I mean, as long as I'm having fun, and safety is number one concern because it's pretty harsh. But if people start complaining that they don't like what I'm doing because it's boring or it's too much of a sale of your PDF course that you have to purchase every day, like, it's more about, I want to make some good, interesting content. I want to lose a bit of weight while I'm walking around. I want to play with my cameras. And if I can make something interesting, then I don't mind putting in that extra work. Like you said, I walked for 3 days, right? 12 hours a day for 3 days. And the edit was longer than 36 hours. Yeah, it was crazy. In fact, after I did the walk, I didn't touch my files for like a month. I was so timed out from it. I'm like, what's the point of this? Who's ever going to watch this? But now it's kind of picking up a little bit of traction, and I just get one comment, someone saying, hey, that was really cool, I've subscribed. And that then just motivates the hell out of me to just do more. Well,
I'm going to tell everybody now to go over and subscribe to your channel anyway. So I'd love, you're on 300 subscribers now. I'd love to see you get to way over 1,000 after this interview. So get over there, people. We'll leave a link down below in the comment section for you.
Wow, that's very kind of you. Because your channel, I think your channel is brilliant. And the fact that, you reached out to a small, minutia little channel like mine doesn't happen in the YouTube world. People want to only go up, right? What can I can't benefit you really at all. So like, I highly appreciate it. And Jeroen from Global Travel Mate was the same. I'm like, you got 50,000 subscribers, man. You keep mentioning me and helping out, but I feel
we were like that. We were like that over there when I was over there. Jeroen, Bangkok Path, myself, Jeroen, Bangkok Path, Brian, a smaller channel called Bangkok Musing. So we were like a little group, and when we all kind of started similar times. And then so Jeroen introduced me to Chris Parker for Retired Working for You, And then the interview with him really propelled the channel, gave it great momentum. So we were always a close group that we shared ideas together, and we were never about egos. It's like, I've got more subscribers than you, so I can't possibly, why would I help you? Like that never came into our head. It's like
Yeah.
Pat, I'd help Pat would help me, Bangkok Pat, Jerome would help me. Jerome would say, okay, Pete, there's a good idea over here. Yeah, this is a good topic. Or like Jerome was the link. He introduced the two of us. So that was the group. We had a strong bond that would of bond of YouTube brothers in Bangkok.
Yeah, that's
you know,
it.
and I think the rest of the Thailand niche, they might not have that. I mean, I know there's guys in Pattaya that link up as well, but in Bangkok we had a strong little group. Well, we never really broadcast it, and that really helped us all, because when one would go up, we take up the other one. So I was getting views at a time, and I was just like, Pat, I need to interview you, get it on the channel. So I'd interview Pat and he'd interview me. So we'd share, and if one succeeds, we all succeed. That's kind of the attitude that we had.
Yeah, no, that's great. And there's a lot of travel in general, right? Not just travel to Thailand, but travel channels. Everybody that travels, they are very excited about it, and thus they want to share it with the world. But sometimes, you know, if you have a kid or a cat, I love my cat. I can't imagine anybody else would like to love my own cat. But if you're so excited about this thing, I might start a YouTube channel to share how good I feel about traveling. And sometimes it's like, yeah, we don't really care. The good thing about that group that you've just said is everyone's got their own little niche, right? The podcast, the sort of the walking around. Mine is more stupidity, and so it's and Pat. I mean, he's just Mr. Knowledgeable, right? He's so knows everything about it. So it's quite nice to feel like that, and you know, be even a part of such a good community, really.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, Chris, we'll leave it there. I'll leave links in the comment section to your channel. I hope everyone goes over and checks it out. It's brilliant. And look, next time in Bangkok, we'll have to meet up and have the conversation face to face. We'll do a part 2 down the line when your channel you've produced way more videos. You've got way more to talk about. I'm really excited to hear about you going across Japan, and legend. Appreciate you doing this interview.
I appreciate you very much as well. Thank you very much for your time, mate.